Down. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mourning the Morning! What's going on?
My name is Shawn Warner.
My name is...
crap. It's Nick. It's still Nick. It's still Nicholas.
It's always Nick.
Yeah. You ever go by Nicholas at all?
You know what I call...
Family does do that, right?
I ask my professional name is Nicholas Nieblas. So I know whenever somebody knows me, they call me Nick.
Right.
If somebody emails me out of nowhere, if they call me out of nowhere and they're like, "Hi, Nicholas," I'm like, you don't know me.
You don't know me.
Because whenever I meet somebody in person, hey, what do you like to call? Call me Nick. You know what I mean? Right. That way I feel like there's a good divide between people that know me and people that don't know me.
All right, Nicholas.
Especially since we have public profile. Like, I'm not saying like we're celebrities. Like, we're not. I've never been stopped.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
In our own minds only.
Right here.
But yeah,
that's all that matters.
In here. But what really matters, in here. Yeah, that's where we're celebrities.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What is up?
My name is Nicholas Nieblas, and this is Jonathan Warner.
Still?
We are here to bring you some shiznat. Shiznat. Let's talk about self-talk. Oh, wait. Careful on that. You don't want to go... You don't want to go with that one. Okay. We've been reading a lot of books. I let you use my Audible account. Don't let anyone know. Because I have the Audible book account. We're not sponsored by Audible, but if you do go to audible.com/Mourning the Morning with Nick and Shawn, all spelled out, you will find a dead link. So that's something.
Yep.
But because of these...
And that will get you 10% off.
It will get the yeah, if you call and you're like, there's no link, and they'll be like, all right, I'll give you 10% off. Probably, like, if you throw, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Like, you got the bob haircut.
So they said, yes,
sir.
Mourning the Morning, /Mourning the Morning.
I saw that
10%
episode.
off, thank you.
I saw that episode. We actually, we all take a break here at Amazon.
Okay.
And stream the Mourning show.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, well, I know you heard about we all got
10%.
We all got a good laugh about it as well. We thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
But we did want to let you know that it was just a joke, and that is a comedy satire TV, not TV, but YouTube internet show. So we are not going to be able to honor that 10%.
Why? This is I have books to read, like self-help books.
No, I agree. I agree that you do have those books to read.
My first book is How to Stop Talking in the First Person.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, please.
Can you help Karen?
First. I cannot help you, ma'am. I'm going to need you to understand that this is a fictional show that they were just making jokes.
I want my 10%. Can I speak with the manager?
Okay, I'm gonna upgrade this call to Jeff Bezos.
I don't know. Oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna send this up to Jeff Bezos. Okay, please hold for Jeff Bezos.
Hello?
Hello, Jeff Bezos, single and ready to mingle. I am half as rich as I once was and twice as drunk as I'll ever be. Hello.
I was trying to get 10% off my audio.
Karen, is that you son of a bitch?
This is Karen?
Karen!
Speaking to me like
oh,
that.
God, Karen. You need to get your fat ass up to the 9th floor right now, Karen. We're doing body shots. Hey, Jeremy, it's Karen! It's Karen!
I'm just going to Barnes & Noble.
Let's do this! All right, does anybody else want to help push the DNC and the liberal agenda with me? Sweet!
All right!
Man, Jeff Bezos. I'm sick and tired of being super liberal and left-wing.
You're super tired?
And
so are all we, Nick! So are all we!
No. You gotta hear the caveat, though. So I'm super tired of being super left-wing and liberal, but then not getting paid that sweet-ass Soros and Bezos money that everyone else is getting. You know what I mean? Could I please get in on some of this?
No.
I want to be a paid socialist, too. at its best. Pay me to believe what you want.
Then you give me half.
Sure.
Pay the man, and he's gonna give me half.
That's right, just like the white man, man. Let me take the risk. Then he gets all the benefits.
I just scoop right in there.
This is why you don't have a bubble water right now.
I scoop right in there. America.
America.
What up, Craig? Morning, dude.
What's
Craig, what's going on?
What up, Craig Morrison?
Talk to us.
Hey, so, Craig,
Self-help.
how do you talk to yourself? I don't like self-help.
Why?
I don't like that idea.
Talking to yourself is self-help.
Not true. Not always. This is the key. This is the thing. How do you talk to yourself? How many times do you do something and you tell yourself, stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Often.
Okay.
Often for me.
That is not good.
Often.
All right? There's a difference between shame and guilt, Shawn.
Sure.
Shame is about who you are as a person. Guilt is about what you have done. Guilt is healthy. Guilt is something that propels you to not do something that you did that was a mistake.
Help you learn from your mistake.
Help you learn.
That's right.
Shame tells you about yourself.
Correct.
Shame says, I am bad, opposed to I did something bad. So the way that you talk to yourself should reinforce that, well, I made a mistake, I did something bad, I need to make it right, that kind of talk.
Yeah, yeah.
But the talk that's like, gosh, I did something bad, therefore I am bad. I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm a bad person, I'm whatever else. You know what I mean?
That's negative reinforcement.
That's negative. That's negative self-talk, and that's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. I'm going to get you that bubble water, man. My
Thanks,
bad,
buddy.
bro.
Thanks, buddy.
That's my bad, Shawn.
It's okay. See, he feels guilty about not getting me a bubble water, but that doesn't make him a bad person. He fixed the problem. That's the deal. The last time I felt guilty about something, probably something to do with my children. I probably was a little harsh. Look at that. Good man. Good man. I like it. Damn. I was saying the last time I felt guilty was with my children. I probably was disciplining, went a little over the top, or I overreacted, and I didn't feel any shame. I felt guilty because of how I spoke to them, and I sat down with them at their eye level, and we talked, and I said, hey, Daddy's sorry, I was a little over the top with it, and I apologize.
I think
they were receptive to that.
I think there's a time and place for that. I think and this is something that Kim explained to me too, where she felt like when she was in her classroom, my wife is a teacher. She's a fantastic teacher. She's gonna get a golden apple and get sapphire apple. She's gonna get like a platinum apple, probably.
How about a ruby apple?
That one too. She already has it.
How about a gala?
Man, you don't definitely pink lady apples.
Pink ladies.
But she was saying how like in her classroom sometimes she feels like, oh my gosh, like I have to be like, okay, well now you have to, and well now you're doing something wrong. But no, actually, sometimes, especially with your kids at home, like they already know that that you love them. Your interaction with them and the existence of your love to them is the total sum of those parts.
Okay.
Now I'm not talking about like you mess up and you backhand your kid. Like that could be very traumatic even happening once.
Yep.
I'm saying in your total, if the kid pours out like all of something onto the floor, or they pour paint on the floor, which we've both recently dealt with in the last like 2 weeks. Like that kid's like, oh, like I just did this. You should react, whoa, what is this? Like that is not okay. Right. And then if they get upset at your reaction, you need to be like, no, that is not okay. You can't be upset because I'm upset. I'm upset because you did something wrong. Your immediate reaction, their reaction, like I do with these kids sometimes, because they'll just like get angry, like Emery will like slam his door because he got in trouble. Right. And it's like, not only now are you in trouble for the thing that you did, but also you need to apologize for what you just did in your reaction.
You're pouring on.
You know? So I think that it's okay sometimes to get, because you're not overreacting like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? No! No! You know what I mean? Like, even if, like, you're not hitting a kid or whatever. Oh, yeah. You sent me out. You sent me out.
Easy, buddy.
So, like, you know what I mean? I feel like the kids should get a sense that.
But you as a parent also, you need to explain the difference between a lot of kids once you start disciplining them, especially at a young age, they start to shut down. And if you're not if they're not receiving your discipline correctly, then it's lost. That makes sense?
I don't agree.
Okay.
I think you have to force them to receive the discipline correctly.
That's exactly what I said.
Well, then you said, you didn't add that caveat. You said if they're not receiving it, it's lost. Okay. Well, I don't see that.
You have to continually do it. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, I mean, like, there should never be an instance where, okay, I'm parenting and, well, I'm just, you know what, you're not hearing it right now, so I'm just going to, you know what I mean?
Just like it's okay to be upset.
It's okay to be upset.
It's okay for dad to be upset because you poured paint all over the floor.
And it's also, it's about how you express that. And it's also, like, there's a threshold for, like, anger. Like, when I tell my son, like, hey, dude, I told you to put all your clothes away. They're not all put away. Go, you know what, you're going to go to bed early because this is like the third time, or whatever, you know, and it's all escalation too. And it's like, by that time, I'm like, all right, we're done here. It's early bedtime. You know, I'm over this. And then he's like, ugh! And then like, if he I'm like,
oh, yo.
What?
Right.
Did you just, like, there needs to be like surprise.
Right, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows, yeah.
I think what's funny is like, sometimes I manufacture a little bit of surprise.
Okay.
For things that I know that these kids know are not right.
That's entrapment.
You know? Yeah. Not manufactured, but it's like when they're like, oh, well, but. I'm like, what did you just say?
But.
Did maybe, and then we'll extend a little bit of grace, be like, I'm gonna just let you try that one again. We're gonna assume that was just a mistake.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take a step back.
Because you know they know.
They know.
They know.
Especially, I think it's them like kind of testing boundaries. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm gonna freak out and see how far I can go before somebody's like, okay, that's enough. You know what I mean? So
it's funny, like your inner dialogue. You talk to yourself more than anyone on the planet.
I think that depends. There's studies about like how the brain works.
Okay.
And there are some people that can literally just blank. Think nothing, and do that for extended periods of time. I cannot. I can't. Can you do that?
No, not at all. Like, for instance, like sitting at the beach. Renee and I, we got to the beach one time. It was just the two of us, no kids. Found this beautiful little cove surrounded by rocks. Ooh. I mean, I think the only way to get in there was like I think we parachuted in. We just wingsuited in.
Cool, nice, squirrel suit.
Yep.
Nice.
We're sitting there and we're no conversation. We're just gonna enjoy the waves. What's with this guy over here chewing his gum like that? Why are these birds looking at like? Does it have to be this hot today? Is it like it's constantly? You got this criticism from you.
It's not like somebody said, like, these are the things that you even recollect and go back to, where you're sitting there and going like, what's this shit? What's that? Why is that guy doing that? This is stupid. Why are we here? It's hot. This is like, we need to leave. Like, I feel like other people could sit down and go like, oh, it is just nice. Like, listen to this. Ocean just hitting that water.
No, I got to those places too, but I'm like,
But you're
I have
I
have to dialogue myself out of like, oh, just leave that guy alone and enjoy the view.
And that's what we're talking about. Like, I think that people don't emphasize enough that you need to, just like with anybody, you need to set expectations for yourself on how you are treated.
That's fair.
You know, in any kind of friendship, you are not going to let somebody, or at least you shouldn't let somebody just be an asshole to you.
Right.
Why are you going to let yourself be an asshole to yourself?
You shouldn't do that. Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate. Be empathetic to yourself. Be understanding to yourself.
You're human.
Right? Craig, are you understanding to yourself? Who else joined us?
Oh, hello, Arian.
Arian, are you self-kind? Not in that way.
I'm sure she's self-kind.
I've known a man named Arian. This is a girl named Arian? Cool.
My high school sweetheart.
Really? And you're friends with her on Facebook?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Really? Why is that weird?
I don't know. I saw somebody post something on Facebook the other day. It's like, you know what the problem is? You know when people...
You know what the problem...
You know when people bitch about social media on social media? You know what the problem is? All these people with their faces shoved in their cell phones, always scrolling on Facebook, you know what I mean?
That dude's screaming it from his sidewalk, but no one would listen. Yeah.
And he's talking about how, like, these marriages are failing because people are too occupied with their phones. No. Marriages are failing because marriages have been failing forever.
Nothing new.
Like, it's nothing
Statistically,
new.
it's been about the same.
And statistically, it's actually getting better.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's actually getting... Well,
that's
also because
less people are getting...
They say that, but that's not necessarily true. If we just talk about the number of marriages, yeah. If we talk per capita, I don't know what those figures are.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, I mean, you gotta get your math right. Gotta get that math right.
Don't care for math. Don't believe it exists, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a real thing.
Oh, it doesn't.
I hear they teach it
It's
to
a construct.
School. Yeah.
Construct. It's just a construct for control.
You heard this thing about the Earth being round?
Come
on already. If that's the case, I would be walking in an ark.
You mean to tell me that at the center of a large gravitational force in the middle of a vacuum of space, that matter will be attracted to that and therefore collect and create a mass of its own? Get out of here!
I love a good magnetic field, though. I really do.
Oh my gosh, polar opposites attract. Listen. I've realized that I need to talk to myself in ways that are compassionate. I've been telling myself things, you know, for a long time that are not positive. Like, like you're that. Like, you're just a bleh person. How dare you even call yourself a father, a husband?
Oh, dang. So you've gotten dark with yourself.
I'm sure we all have.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this is I don't know enough of it to really say anything, but take a hypothetical and hyperbolic language as it is. What is suicide if not self-murder? You know what I mean? If not, I cannot stand this person so much.
You hear that? Just hearing that is
right.
Gives you shivers that someone would get into that. Ugh.
So I mean, and I would argue that there are people that have awful circumstances that perhaps that idea of release is better than living in itself. But that's like, the thing is, like, people are their own, but why do we care so much about suicide? And I think it's because we understand that there's value to life, just simply being lived. Mm-hmm. So even in that, I feel like understanding that there is just value for existing, that the cells in your body have decided to arrange in such a way to keep you alive.
That's hard to penetrate, though, when your circumstances are beyond your control.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, and that's why we can't speak to everyone's scenario. You know what I mean? I can't say that if I wasn't terminally ill with like days to live and I'm like in incredible pain, I can't be like, why am I hanging on? Like, can we get this rolling, please?
I need you, Nick.
No, let me go.
Listen, man.
I am gonna die.
You've got a couple of days, buddy.
My whole body is on fire right now.
I understand that. I got you.
I mean, not like literal heat or on fire.
Right,
Thank you for fanning my flames somehow.
Sure.
But like every nerve ending is just exploding with pain.
Can't go yet, man. Can't go yet.
Yeah!
Sorry about that. I won't do that again. Selfishly, I tried to keep him here.
Now, of course, that there's always nuance, though. You know what I mean? Now, nuance is the thing, because in that case, of course, in extreme cases, you can understand why somebody would be like, I gotta go. But in other cases where everyone else says, hey, that's not extreme enough, that person's like, it's extreme enough for me. Mm-hmm. You know, so I feel like...
So it's a matter of degree.
It's a matter of nuance, and I think this is also important when talking to yourself. Okay. When you talk to yourself, you have to have nuance. You have to have... There are gray areas that you have to embrace, I think. Because you can't, look, you self-talk positively enough and you're a megalomaniac, okay? You know what I mean? You are so awesome. Listen to me, you. Listen to me.
You're amazing.
You are fantastic.
You're amazing.
No one is better than you.
In fact,
literally no one is better than you.
Nobody. And oddly enough, you were humble.
So
So
humble.
humble.
Oh my gosh, you're so humble. People wish they were as humble as you. They wish. They were
buddy.
that humble.
Easy, buddy.
They don't even know what humility is. You know what? You know what?
Only you.
You,
know.
just you.
Only
Just
you.
you. Oh my gosh. You know who knows how to solve everything? You. You know how to fix the world's problems? You.
You don't need anyone's help.
And you know what? You know who's going to keep it to them?
Oh. He seems like the kind of guy that just blinks. Mr. President? Mr. President?
I'm not even going to play that asshole. It's not worth it to me. Me and Kim were watching SNL the other day. You know, their cold open's always political.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how can it not be?
That's what's going on.
And what's funny is, like, watching the sketch, we're, like, not laughing because we're like, I mean, I feel like anyone who hasn't come around yet to this guy being just an awful president. You see, like 200 political scientists, top political scientists in the country who ranked the presidents in order of, like, positive impact and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln was number 1.
Oh, okay.
You know, by a lot of them.
Sure.
And Trump was last. Yeah. Dead last.
Mm-hmm.
Down there, James Buchanan. You gotta be kind of a special dick to be lumped in with James Buchanan.
What did JB do?
He's just a dick. I don't know. I just hope people out there know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's number, what, 44 out of 45 presidents.
Okay.
On the shit list, so.
Okay.
Probably something bad. He's probably racist and probably, you know, probably all of the worst presidents kind of all had the same attributes.
Was Teddy up there? Was he high?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just want to see number 1 and who was last. I mean, there was no question about who was last.
Sure.
Right.
So what about Obama? Where's he at on the list?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I would assume not
Right next
at
to
the
Washington?
top, but towards the top.
Right next to Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Adams?
A lot of good stuff happened under Obama. I know everybody doesn't like him, but like a lot of good stuff did happen under Obama, and I feel like a lot more could have.
Okay. Chester A. Arthur?
Chester A. I'm president now. Look at me. My name is Chester A. Arthur. Ooh. Presidential pardon for you. A presidential pardon for you. Clanked. Shawn, how do you find yourself talking to yourself most of the time?
I analyze quite a bit each decision that I make.
Of course. What is that? But let's say you've done something and you're unhappy with what you did.
Okay.
You're in plays enough. Okay.
Okay.
You recently can we talk about that? You recently exited.
I did.
A play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had some feelings about it. Now, whether you felt justified or whether you were in fact justified, and no matter,
I don't think that mattered.
Whose
because
eyes?
of how I felt.
Of course.
Yeah.
So beyond that, there was probably, even if you felt like I've been in a position where it's like, okay, now that that's over or I'm out of that or whatever, like thank God I'm done with that. You
Yes,
know what
I had a lot of anxiety about it
So-
until I got released. Like,
right, but
because I left the door open. I said I wanted out, and the director, friend of mine, I said, sorry, but
let me know if you can find somebody.
if you can't find anyone,
I'm like, you just gotta cut it,
I
man.
still will do it.
So there's that, but also
'Cause I'm a
after
people
the
pleaser.
fact, even after the fact, and they found somebody and
Yeah.
you know replaced you and whatnot. But even after the fact, I wonder if you, hey Kelly,
So, Cal?
I wonder if how you talk to yourself after that, even understanding like, all right, it's best for me. They got somebody to replace me. No harm, no foul. But even that, it's like, me personally, I'd be like, what does that say about me that I quit something?
Okay.
Right? And that's negative self-talk. Like, there's no reason to be on, like, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't even necessarily mean, like, it's not even a mistake necessarily. It could be what's best for everyone, but you could still feel bad about it. And how you talk to yourself when you feel bad about it really matters. Because you could get down on yourself and be like, I'm still a piece of shit for leaving that. Everyone in that cast thinks that I'm an asshole now.
Right.
You know, like, who does that? I committed to something. God, like, you could just pile on, you know, which
I
you
went
have
through-
a tendency.
I went through all that dialogue.
Yeah.
I talked to you about it because I was ready to quit. I was emotionally in it. But like all good therapy, you should take some time to listen to what's being told, analyze what's being said,
Yes.
what you weigh it all out,
Yeah.
and then make a decision.
Yeah.
I did. That next day, I felt okay with it because I knew I couldn't be the best person they needed for that part. And the way of course, immediately the anxiety was gone once she let me out, and I immediately was like, "Well, is there anything else I could do for you?" Is there, like, I immediately thought, and then I talked to Renee. I was like, "Should I go see the show? I need to support the show."
Nope. You don't have to do any of that.
I don't need to.
You don't have to do any of that.
I don't need to.
You don't have to do any of that, Shawn.
I don't want to. I just think that.
Hey. Let me help you in some way. I'll make it up to you. I'll make you not hate me. That's what that is.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's just what you're doing.
No, I don't feel any. Most of them I just met. The director.
All of those. Don't say no. All of those feelings of like, well, is there anything I could do for you? It's all about you. That has nothing to do with her. What do you mean? Is there anything you could do for me? You're out of my play.
No, I know that, but it's unless she needed something for me to come help with the new guy, whatever it was. It didn't need. I knew she wouldn't say anything, but
so if you knew she wouldn't say anything, why offer?
Good point.
Because that's about you, which I'm not saying.
And I don't think that's
bad.
necessarily wrong.
It's not necessarily wrong.
No.
You know, maybe you needed to do that, but it's also important to recognize that.
She said morning to midday.
Woo, woo, woo. Oh, that's
Central and Eastern.
Mm-hmm. Wow, she's in 2 time zones?
That's amazing, Kelly.
Is she just like 1 foot over?
What are you doing? You standing right
You
there on the line?
Stepping right over the line?
Huh?
Stepping over the line?
That's right.
Shoot.
What line is it that changes the day? Is that the prime meridian? Is that what that's called?
Correct, Shawn.
Okay. If you're on, you'd be in 2 days. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Prime meridian would separate. Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Start at the beginning of one and start at another.
I like it.
Would it though?
I'm glad to be out of the play.
Yeah.
I
got kicked out of a play. I got kicked out of a play, and I was kind of glad to be out of that too.
There's a part of you though that said you would have enjoyed it.
Yes.
You really would have enjoyed it.
There's a part of me that felt like I would have done well. I would have enjoyed it.
How did you process?
Let the music director know that I was disappointed with her.
That she was a see you next Tuesday.
No, did not.
I'm sorry.
My volume may have. I mean, look, I had an argument with the wife the other day, and she's like, "Stop shouting and cursing." I'm like, I shout and curse when I'm happy. Why am I not gonna shout and curse when I'm mad? Like, what do you want me to do? My bad. Sorry. So I got.
Sir, this is a library.
Oh, this book is amazing,
sir.
Once upon a time.
We need to start reading children's stories.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
Shouting them.
Yeah.
So I was in a room with the door closed. Little did I know the entire cast full of high schoolers was like up against the door, like
glasses.
Hello, what is he doing? You know, and like they heard me telling her, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like you have me here for like 4 or 5 hours, and like I only get to work like the last half an hour of the time that I'm here. Right. I got laundry I can fold. Right? You know what I mean? Like I'm a stay-at-home dad. Like I don't like it's not about me going to a job. It's like I could be home with my family. I'm the only person in this cast.
Your time was valuable.
That has kids. That has a mortgage. You know what I mean? Like even the director and the music director and the lead of the play. Father, mother, son. Like.
So we get the point. How did you deal with it afterwards?
So I got kicked out because
were you negative with yourself? Were you unkind?
No, I'm very much negative with everyone else.
Okay. Okay. I can see that.
I thought back to my, how I could have handled that better.
$60 for candy? $60?
We're not gonna go
$60.
Two of my players might Google me, so I don't want to talk about that. I'm doing Little League. I'm coaching Little League for my son. He's starting at 7 years old.
Okay.
Some Little League and stuff. I'm nervous about it. The self-talk that I got to do on this is like, you're going to be able to do it. I just have to plan. Like I think my nerves come from not being prepared.
That makes sense.
And it's on Thursday. So I need to sit down and be like, all right, it's only an hour-long practice. Got to figure out how we're going to get this thing going. You know? So I've been doing
This is
some
kids, man. How old are they? What's your
7, like 6 to 7, I think.
6 to 7,
or 6
okay.
to 8. I don't know, something like that.
You got this. It ain't that difficult. It's just orange slices and juice boxes, man. That's it. That's all you need to prepare. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I feel that way. I'm new at CrossFit coaching.
Yes.
And I'm constantly evaluating the decision I make or whether or not I can coach these people proficiently.
Right.
And I realize I have limitations because I'm new at this.
Of course.
So, and I don't kid myself. I don't beat myself up. I do, Shawn, just do your best. Pick one thing and move on. Yeah. And you'll get better at that. I
think the best things to knowing your limitations, but also knowing that you can push past those limitations with enough time and effort. I think is a very important part of self-talk, especially if you're feeling like, well, I talk to myself shitty all the time and I can't stop. Well, okay, that's a place to start. The fact that you recognize that you talk to yourself shitty. If you can identify a problem, you can fix a problem. Yeah, that's what I say. You know what I mean? If you could say, I talk to myself shitty, okay.
And that's the biggest thing of getting a solution to any problems. You got to figure out what the heck what it is. Yeah. What is that?
Well, like you have these people, like, okay, so let's take, for example, a big hot button issue is like the wall, for example.
It's right here.
We have this big. Yeah. We have.
I'll push it.
Don't do it.
I'll push it, dude.
Don't do it.
I will push this button, Nick.
Go push the button.
I'm a little nervous now. I don't know if I should. I was pretty sure.
Pushing the button?
Well, I mean, I'll do it.
Okay, prove it.
I'll do it, but then
don't you dare do it. What, you gonna push it now? Don't you dare.
You don't think I will?
Don't you dare push it.
You don't think I will?
Do it.
This is a hot. But then I feel guilty that it would derail the show.
All right, that's the problem with hot button issues.
That's right.
Like, okay, let's say that there is a problem of illegal immigration. Most of that problem is because people overstay their visas. Okay?
Wouldn't you?
Yes.
Wow, it's better here.
Obviously, like, look at that.
At home, I was sitting on a dirt floor. And
our immigration services, our social services that are surrounding those things, are people applying for asylum, all this kind of stuff. It is overran because it's underfunded. Like, we talk about, like, okay, let's talk about drugs coming across illegally. Those drugs are coming through ports. They're not even coming through, like the border in places where, you know, there aren't people. They're just coming through, like, on ships and regular trucks and cars. Like, it's easier to do that than to try and mule across, like, thousands of miles of desert. So we have to understand what the problem is first. The problem is there is a demand for drugs. And those drugs are illegal.
I'll take some, please.
And they are dangerous to get, they are dangerous to sell, and they are dangerous to buy. If we remove those factors, like if we decriminalized, for example, and said, guess what? You're not going to spend time in jail. You might receive some counseling, talk with a doctor. And see
works in other countries just fine.
Look at that.
Works just
and all of a sudden, there is no more illegal market for drugs. Supply and demand, people. Economics could save the world.
That's right. I'm moving.
God, I'm self-righteous.
I'm moving to Britain.
I wouldn't.
They're on their way out too.
No country has the First Amendment like we do. And that's just, I think, the more I think about it, the more important it is to just the foundation of who we are. More than any other amendment, the First Amendment is key. You know,
say what you want, do what you want.
That's right. Believe what you want.
That's right.
Here's the thing. This is important. First Amendment says that you have every right to say anything you want, believe anything you want, report on anything you want. Right?
Fake news.
That's fake news.
Shit.
Which means in order to, transition into what we're talking about here, you need to give yourself permission to talk to yourself. I'm not going to talk to myself about those feelings. I'm not going to work through those feelings. I'm just going to, I'm uncomfortable with those feelings. Push them away.
How long did I do that? I refuse to deal with my own feelings because I felt like I was letting down my wife, which one thing didn't have anything to do with the other. You know what I mean? So, well, I can't go there. I can't go talk about that or deal with that because I need to get this right or I need to get that right. And so I just squashed it. Then became more depressed.
So many times we feel like, you know, when we are vulnerable, we are showing we are weak. Wherein actually being vulnerable is allowing yourself to get naked. It's allowing others the opportunity to hurt you, honestly. Because if I go to you...
Do you think people pick up on that subconsciously?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think people... And that's why people say, like, oh, what is vulnerability? Oh, it's being weak. No. Vulnerability... No. If there is a vulnerability, there is a weakness, which means that I'm being vulnerable to you. I'm opening up and allowing you to have an impact on me in some, like, emotional way.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I'm like, hey, man, I'm struggling with this. That is me giving you the opportunity. I'm handing you a knife and saying you can either take this knife and just ram it home, or are you stabbing yourself?
Yeah.
Why? I'm saying you can stab me in this metaphor.
Oh, man, that's better.
Oh, wait! Hold on a second. Now, hold on a second.
You can block it.
I'll
give you an opportunity.
I'm saying you could stab me.
Okay.
However,
all right,
you could wait. I'll say, or however you could.
Are you vulnerable or not?
I'm trying to be. And what I'm saying though is, in this moment where I'm trying to be vulnerable, I'm handing you a dagger, saying, "Hey, you could stab me if you want, or you can find a way to commiserate with me, communicate with me your feelings, and make me feel safe."
That's fair.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh my god! Oh my
Try
god!
to stab me.
I'm not dead yet. Just finish me.
Oh god. What have I done?
I'm just bleeding out here. I don't. That'll do it. One more.
You know, self-talk.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to say that it's not my fault so much. I'm gonna talk positively to myself in this situation, where I may have murdered Shawn with the improv knife.
I'm thirsty.
And then kicked his deadening body. Okay, buddy. Welcome back.
That was close. I almost improv died.
Oh shit, my bad. I did not mean to improv beat you within an inch of your improv.
That's okay.
Life. Woo! Hot McGillicuddy.
I can see it now from the camera. He's just kicking the crap out of me.
That old stage combat, folks. If you want that and more, make sure you hire me and Shawn for your next film.
You won't be disappointed.
You won't be disappointed.
We're professionals.
We are professionals. We are probationals.
Probationals.
We have to check in with our probation officer.
But we'll be there.
But we will be there. 100% of the time.
Don't even worry about it.
We are union specialists.
We are part of the union. The New World Order.
The New World Order.
That's right.
Union of the New World Order.
Don't bring your own guns. We got our own guns.
That's right. Shotgun. None but a little bit of gibberish.
To go back to what you were saying earlier, you identifying the problem, being vulnerable, and then having that support system too.
Yes.
Support system is good.
It's important.
If you got someone that's just pushing back and not...
Well, here's the thing. If you don't have a support system, it's probably because you're not being vulnerable.
Ooh. Oh, knowledge.
Hold on.
Okay.
It's not dropping yet. We're not over yet.
Okay.
Let's just...
Sorry.
You got a little hasty with the mic drop.
Sorry. Sorry.
Woo! Good thing it dangled there in midair for a minute before
because your reaction was a little slow.
Well, it's okay because the improv microphones, like, it caught up with my reaction.
Yeah.
You know, in the improv.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could have gone in slow motion, I guess.
You could have totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
We're saving some people today. Support system.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
People don't have friends if your friends feel like they can't connect to you. You can't connect to people
because you got this.
You can't connect to people if you are not able to be at least a little vulnerable. You got to try. You got to try and be vulnerable, and you got to be able to fail. All right.
I got my cloak on. You want to grab a
Is
beer?
that why you're just a floating head right now? This cloak of invisibility?
That's right.
Okay. That's crazy. I could just like reach right through you. That's interesting. What's your deal? Okay. Well, look, I'll tell you what. I need some dude to walk around with a sombrero on his head with chips and guacamole in it. I know you really like talking to people, but this is a way for maybe you to take a step out there.
Inevitably, someone's going to want to talk with.
They're not going to want to talk with you.
It doesn't look.
They're going to want a taco with you.
Okay, that was a good one. That was good.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Is that guacamole homemade? Shawn, next time you have a bit where you walk off screen, I'm going to need you to walk entirely off screen.
I didn't commit.
What the
I didn't commit. That was a commitment. I did. Man, he left. Wow. Now that's full commitment.
No.
I wasn't even on a camera shot. I thought I was.
Even that.
See, now I feel like a bad improver. Now I feel like
Hey,
now, see?
You're not. Hold on. You made a mistake. You got to understand, though, that this is something that you've heard, you know before, you felt before, all right? It's just something that you're like, it's not that big a deal. Sometimes we lack a little bit sometimes. And I wouldn't even say it was lacking. I would say that
I let you down. I let myself down.
Let me tell you what.
Most importantly, I let my audience down.
Be compassionate to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself in this moment. You know why? Especially considering the external circumstances surrounding the things that you have no control over. That's what you got to recognize first.
I could have controlled that.
You absolutely could have, but here's the thing. You were only in control of your body and your feet. You're not in control of where this camera is. You're not in control of where this table is. You're not in control of where anything else in this room is, which changes constantly, okay? Don't turn to the bottle, Shawn. You don't need this right now, okay? Listen to me. You are not in control of all these things. So when you walk off in improv anger, okay, your level of commitment is just entirely dependent on you. And sometimes that commitment is perfect, and the circumstances around you and your commitment is what's... Okay, we're not going to need that. Okay,
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself and just take it as I didn't... You know what it was? It's tissue paper, right, man? Tissue paper. I'll do better next time. Ooh, I'll do better next time. Yeah, I'll fully commit next time.
Sounds like you'll do better next time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. You ever do that? Hit yourself.
Give yourself a little jump start.
Oh, boy.
All right, that's the hat.
Oh, my goodness.
Not that old. What things do you think I got to look forward to in the next 10 years?
For what?
Just getting older.
You can go F yourself. We're not having that conversation. How about you look inward? Hey, you old man. Hey, what do I got to look forward to in 30 years? Huh? Are you shitting yourself yet? You shitting yourself?
Some say that I overshare and that I say things that are too vulnerable to test my relationships with other people. This is something I'm becoming aware of.
I thought that was strictly your theory.
No.
Why you do it.
No, this is like it's like a therapy kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, I was reading this book called Daring Greatly. Fantastic read. I suggest you read it after the book you're reading.
I will.
It talks about this whole... It really opens you up to these ideas of... Because reading this book and being vulnerable was like... I'm reading this going like, I got no problem sharing my emotions. I got no problem being open and weak and whatever else that all those things kind of, entail. But then it got to the end of the book and it was talking about how some people overshare. Some people make very harsh and bold statements to test the strength of the friendships and relationships around them. And I'm like, oh,
I would argue too that
somebody's guilty of that.
Yeah, that you are oversharing just so you're putting out what you just want to see, or you want other people to see, so they won't see past to the real stuff. Are you being vulnerable about everything? You know how they say physically, hey, take a risk, or take a risk on an investment, or take a risk on, for some, taking a risk on putting something out there that's sensitive to you, that's an even bigger risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it is risky.
Especially when it comes to relationships.
That's why vulnerability has to come from a place of understanding and like safety and like with the closest people to you. And if you don't have people close to you, it's going to be hard to practice vulnerability. You know what I mean? But then again, to try and start relationships for the purpose of, gaining relationships is a weird thing too. Like, hey, do you want to be my friend? Like, it's like
why can kids do it so easily?
Right.
Because they don't
because they have no sense.
They're not
of the
enough
ego.
experience, or that ego's not there. And
yes.
Hey, you and I, we're gonna play.
My son comes home the other day. He's like, "Yeah, my best friend," and I'm like, "Whoa,
yeah,
best friend, okay,
yeah."
I mean, we didn't solidify our best friendship status for at least half a decade, so I don't understand. You can just jump in with that title.
Is that how long it was?
There was some iffiness around year 2.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
We had that dark phase, year 3.
Where we always wore sunglasses?
Yeah. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can protect myself from my eye friends. No, I don't think that's the words.
The worst song break we've ever done.
It's pretty bad. Your dancing made up for it, though.
I like to think so.
It was interpretive.
I like to think so.
I don't know what that was, but it was.
I wear my sunglasses. How?
Take a risk on yourself.
Take a risk, take a mountain, take a mountain, take a mountain.
Dare greatly.
Get out there,
It's actually a great title.
It is a really good title. And that is the whole idea, the premise behind it is like that it is courageous to step outside yourself and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I don't know this, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
every time you read one of those memes on those get right memes that you see on social media, and it resonates with you a little bit. Mm-hmm. As corny as it may sound, that's just your inner dialogue telling you to take a risk.
Yeah, I think I like emphasize these types of things, like where we say like take a
you dipping your hand in sand. Sand.
Gotta fix it.
Oh yeah. Who is the master now? Shawn.
But like I like to say, if something is worth wanting, then it's worth working for. Okay? So like if, for example, if you are feeling like, you know what, I don't have close relationships, or my relationships that I have aren't as close as I'd like them to be, you need to take an opportunity to be vulnerable. Obviously that does not mean like, here is everything that I've ever struggled with. But, you need to take moments and connect with people when they are connecting with you. I think being aware of that is incredibly important. Ooh.
Listen.
Hang on. What do you have 2 of, but you only got 1 of? You got 2 ears.
I have 2 eyes, too.
You should be looking to. Eye contact.
2 arms.
That's because you should be doing, but not talking.
Okay.
Got 2 feet.
I do have 2 toes. 2 fingers.
Oh. You have 1 toe on each foot. That's weird.
No. I mean, I have 10, but it's also the statement that I also have 2.
I just realized we were doing no but improv instead of yes and improv.
No but.
If something is worth wanting, it's worth working for. If you find that you would like these relationships, you would like this about yourself, you would like to be more kind to yourself, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
You have to. Like, You can't just sit back and achieve stuff by sitting down,
That's right.
metaphorically or otherwise.
Nothing's stopping us from doing this show.
No, just us.
Just us.
Just us and our desire, whether or not it stays.
Mm-hmm.
We did a podcast for a long time. That got stale. We realized, then moved into this medium. We realized the thing that everyone needs is to look at these mugs.
Who are these bubbles?
Hey.
So go be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Get out there and be kind to yourself.
Please, for God's sakes, be kind to the barista. They didn't do anything to deserve.
If you're not kind to service people,
Come on.
you're an asshole.
They're working.
Work on
they're
yourself.
trying. They
Work
get
on
up,
yourself.
They're there.
This is the other thing I think that allows people to be self-kind, is that most of the time, when people respond to you in a way that is overtly negative, they yell or they're angry or those types of emotions, and they aren't communicating themselves in a proper way, those reactions usually have much more to do with them than it has to do with you.
Totally.
And your mistake that you made. You know what I mean? Especially if you own up to it. If you say, man, boss, I apologize. I dropped the ball here. I realize where my mistake is. And I apologize. It'll never happen again. So.
Don't worry about it, man. We'll get it next time.
All right. Thanks,
You're a
Mark.
good employee.
Appreciate it.
I mean, that's coming out of your pay.
That's $14,000 account. It's going to take me about 3.5 years to pay that off.
Probably 4. I forgot we had a pay cut too. So we got a
You
pay
are
cut.
harsh but fair.
No problem, man.
God, I love working in America.
Let's get out of here.
I'm so glad so many employers have so many rights.
That was a good show. Please be kind to yourself. You don't have to work on everything now. Just work on one aspect. Identify it. Ask yourself, is this healthy the way I'm reacting to myself?
One of the best things to do is when you identify the problem, make sure it's actually the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you identify the problem and you go, you know what the problem is? My coworker's a bitch.
Yeah, that's probably not it.
Probably
That may
not
be the
it.
case. That
True.
may be the case.
Your coworker very well may have a problem in that area.
But how you react to him.
That's on you.
That's right.
That's on you.
Yeah.
From Nick and Shawn and the armchair psychology worlds of tomorrow.
Royd!
Mourn that motherfucking morning.
I feel better about myself. I feel like we fixed some things.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Fucking J.R. Harris going
Hey,
right
all
as
right,
we
JR.
end.
Right
All
at the end.
I bet he's watching and just waiting for that
Just
phone call to come
waiting.
in.
Now he's on the air.
JR, you are on the
You
air
are on
with
the show.
Nick and Shawn.
Now yeah, what part of you not being on the show don't you understand?
Worst caller ever.
Hello? Caller number 3.
You're on.
Hello?
Oh, shit. Self-talk, JR.
Self-talk.
How do you talk compassionately to yourself? Are you empathetic to yourself? No, talking. We're going to get out of here,
We need a new
folks.
screener.
Thank you for
We
tuning
need
in
a
to
new
Mourning
screener.
the Morning. My name is Nick Niebles.
I'm Shawn Warner.
Peace out. Talk well to your